What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Trout Wrangler podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Garrity. We got a really cool interview coming today. Everybody knows who this dude is. If you've been on Instagram, um, you've seen this guy somewhere. Um, just an absolute legend. Makes some of the funniest videos I've ever seen. Um, we are only we are only uh you know no visual today. We're only sound today to protect this person's identity, because he is going of himself. But before we get into who the interview is and the interview itself, I want to thank the podcast partners: Cordina Eyewear, Afueta Coffee, Yeti Coolers, Trout Routes, and Free Fly Apparel. And if you would like to save free shipping on your Cordina Eyewear orders, check the show notes. If you want to have a month of Trout Routes Pro, also check the show notes. Without further ado, we have Mr. Lowcountry D on the podcast today. You know who this dude is. The quote unquote old man from the gram and TikTok. Um, so coming up next is our interview with Lowcountry D. What's up, guys? Like I said in the intro, we do have a interview today. Everybody has heard who we have on today. As soon as you hear the voice, you'll know who we're talking about. We're not doing visual today. I'm not trying to dox them like those losers from TikTok, but go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit.
Guys, this is Lowcountry D coming at you from Atlanta, Georgia. This is the only place I could find some podcast equipment in the Southeast. None of my buddies are privy to or savvy with any of this shit. So, guys, just excited to be on the Trout Wrangler podcast. And it's just a plumb wonderful day in Dixie.
Hell yeah. But all right, we're going to break out and we're going to let him use his regular voice today because talking like that would be, and you'd be tired by the end of this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But
Dude,
no, thanks for having me on.
no problem, dude. So, dude, a lot of people just know you as the old dude on TikTok and Instagram. And dude, it's so funny how people just kind of see that and they don't realize. Like, I had no idea that you fished in Alaska like you did. I didn't know that you fished like you do.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Large part of the fabric. A lot of this character was inspired by my grandfather, who was a big fisherman. Me and my brother, older brother, would go out to his house. He lived in a place called Browntown, just outside of Kingsland, Georgia. Pretty close to my hometown of St. Mary's, and he'd wake us up at 7 o'clock to reveille. We'd eat shit on a shingle, which is, if you're unfamiliar with it, it's biscuits and gravy, sausage
Oh
gravy, and
yeah.
and then we'd run across the dirt road and go to the pond and fish. And he also had a little setup, a little dock on the St. Mary's River as well. So, big part of the fabric, and obviously, just grew up on the coast and grew up inshore fishing, trout, flounder, redfish, sheep's head. So, um, it's a large part of my life. It's something I'm very passionate about too. So,
Heck yeah, dude. A lot of people don't realize the fishery that is down there in low country Georgia, dude. I mean, first off, people hear low country and they automatically think South Carolina. And it's like the low country spans from South Carolina all the way down coastal Georgia, and I even consider part of, northern Florida kind of low country.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Even when you start to get into that Yulee, Amelia Island area, that is still very
Yeah.
much the low country. Some people like to call the Georgia side the Golden Isles. I don't like churching it up that much. It's still, the dirty south coast of Georgia. It very much the low country. So, but yes, you're right, man. Everybody kind of associates it just with, the Charleston area. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's and it's one of the great parts about our state, man. I know you're over there in North Carolina and spent some, a good amount of time in Georgia, but it's a special place whenever you get down there.
Oh yeah, dude. Like I got a buddy that's in Savannah right now, and I don't think he's ever been like alone. And he's sending me videos from like the bar and shit like that. Just getting absolutely tore up all by himself. I mean, kind of a wild trip to go on by herself, but it's one of those things that he's like, dude, this place is awesome. I was like, yeah, dude, that's coastal Georgia for you.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, my brother, older brother, who I mentioned earlier, he's 3 years older than I am, and he lives in Savannah, close to the Isle of Hope, and he's got his little go to joints like I believe it's called Mood Rights, and the Norwood Tavern. So I've hit several of those places with him before. Man, it is he's one of the same as your buddy. He'll go out there by himself and make a whole lot of friends, and that's that's also what makes that part of the world great too, man. It's still one of those places you can go prop up at a bar stool, and you still get that southern hospitality, and people kind of treat you like they know you forever. So
Oh yeah. Dude, so you haven't always lived in Georgia, or not? You grew up in Georgia, but you spent some time in Alaska, huh?
yeah, man. I've spent 2 summers out in Alaska, in Cooper Landing, Alaska, which was recommended to me by a family friend who has since passed on. She was from St. Mary's as well. But yeah, this town of Cooper Landing, it's got about 250 residents, full time residents, year
Damn.
round. Yeah, winters are brutal. It's about 2 hours south of Anchorage. The fishery is just elite. So that's where the Kenai River and the Russian River, that's where the confluence is. So they've got a great salmon run, sockeye salmon run each year. And as the summer progresses, you get to that later August, early September. That's really when those big trout start coming out because they're just feeding off the spawn. Um,
Yeah.
so which makes for an incredible bead bite as well. So it's there's not a lot of places I've been like it. And I'm actually set to go back out uh this August. So hoping to get some
Oh,
content
sweet,
out
dude.
there, and yeah, yeah, so it'll be a good time.
Dude, I bet that is a hell of a place to get some content out there. Dude, I can't wait to see that footage just because people are gonna be caught so fucking off guard.
That's exactly right. Yeah, yeah. They'll start calling me High Country D, likely.
Yeah,
But it is. I mean, there's so much good content. I mean, between the people that you meet out there, and just being able to be on the river, virtually all day,
yeah,
is incredible. And the sights you see, especially when it starts getting to that late summer, that's when bears start really getting comfortable coming out, and they're just stocking up on salmon. So it's there's plenty of content to be made, man. It's awesome.
dude. So, in the summer days, dude, there like, do you have light all day into like some of the nighttime hours? Because a bunch of people that go out there to Alaska, they're like, dude, sometimes you'll have full light until midnight.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's fairly accurate. I'd call it basically like a blue dawn. If you're up really early in the morning, it's kind of just got that blue tint to it.
Yeah,
That's more so what you'll have till about midnight. And it's awesome because some days you'll have a 3 day limit on sockeye salmon. So right when that timer resets at midnight, you want to get back out there and get your limit. I'm out there on a
yeah,
mission. I'm trying to fill the freezer. So, um, and also that's what we eat on while we're in the campground. So, because stores are hard to come by. You got to drive all the way to Soldotna, which is 40 miles away, and God knows if your car is going to make it.
Yeah.
Um, so, but it's also, man, it can be dangerous because you're sitting in camp and you're sitting around a fire and you're having a good time and drinking a lot of beers and you kind of look down at your watch and you're like, holy shit, man, it is 2 a.m. And I've got to work at 7. So, so it can be dangerous, but yeah, man, it's pretty incredible. Just experiencing that. And it's certainly something you got to get adjusted to whenever you get out there.
Yeah. Dude, that sounds exactly like so. Being from Georgia, you probably know where Cashiers, North Carolina is. Like, I swear, I think like half of Atlanta has a damn house up at like Mountaintop or Wade Hampton.
No
And
question.
dude, I worked up there for a at a outdoor pursuits for Mountaintop, and we had all these kids from like South Africa that would come in on a work visa, and some of them had like never had bourbon before, and it's like I just graduated college. I'm still like at the time I'm still ready to like rip roar and drink beer every night of the week. I don't have to be at work until 10 a.m. until you start getting the damn South African kids hammered, and they want to stay up all night until like 3 in the afternoon the next day, just getting shit faced. It's like I look down at my watch, got to be at work at 10. I'm like, fuck, man, it's 4 in the morning.
Yeah, time to wrap it up, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's funny because there's a lot of seasonal workers that go out there to Cooper Landing. There's a Princess Cruise Line lodge out there,
yeah,
and a lot of Bulgarians will come work out there, and that is just their release, man. And they work like dogs too, but they will
yeah.
party with the best of them, man. I'm talking about just shoot straight vodka from the bottle. They go hard, man. They're a good time though.
Oh, dude, I bet. That's like we had a bunch of Irish kids that worked up there too, and I'm talking those kids are the same way. They get drunk and want to fight. And there was one, dude. There was one that I woke up one night because they freaking had townhomes out there that they put us up in, and I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure I had a fly fishing trip the next day with damn I want to say it was like Zach Johnson's kids from the PGA Tour golfer,
Yeah.
and I woke up at like 2 in the morning. It was like the one night I got to bed where I was like, I actually have to be functional in the morning, and and I woke up at 2 to like a massively loud bang, and then kids outside screaming at each other. And one of the Irish kids threw a South African dude down the steps, drunk as shit at
Oh
2
no.
a.m. Busted a hole in the wall, and they had to escort the Irish kid out, and they sent him back to Ireland. Craziest shit in the world, dude. But like, it's nuts how like they like you're talking about at Cooper Landing where they you get people from all over the world that are like seasonal workers, and it's cool as shit because like they experience stuff they've never seen, and like we all get freaking like acquainted to like a completely different like culture than what we even know here in like the South.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you talk to these folks, they're just so thankful and
Yeah,
blessed to be in the States, man, just doing that and experiencing that culture. And it's like, they're only there for a limited amount of time. So they really take advantage of the day and the night. So, um,
yeah,
and those run into one another often. So,
yeah, 100%.
yeah. So, and I get it, man. I enjoy it. I certainly enjoy meeting people like that. And it seems like that language barrier, it can be difficult at first, but it breaks down after a few beers. Humor is
Oh
humor,
yeah,
and we
100%.
we all connect that way. So
There's anything that can bring people together, it's freaking liquor and cold beer.
that's right. That's right,
It's like a
man.
college football tailgate.
That's exactly right, man. No
But
question.
dude, so like during the summer, dude, what does the climate typically look like in Alaska? Like, How do you kind of prepare for fluctuating temperatures?
Oh man, it's actually awesome, man. It's very favorable. It's during a nice summer day out there is you're looking at peak temps of about 75 to 77 degrees. I'd say that's the
Oh,
spread
dude, that's
there.
awesome.
Oh, it's incredible, man. And that obviously that water is glacier fed. So I mean it's very cold water. But as time goes on, as the summer goes on, it starts to get comfortable. You're out there in your waders and you're not wearing pants and really you don't need to wear socks. I mean, I wear socks, probably gets a little stinky if you don't, but it feels so good getting out there in just a t-shirt. You don't have to bundle up, but if you're going out in the mornings and you are going at midnight, you're probably going to want to have a jacket on. It's getting down there into and probably the mid to high 50s
Yeah.
throughout the summer. And then once you're getting close to that September time, that's when it starts to drop off a little bit. I mean, their winter comes so soon. Their fall comes so soon. And it comes quick too. So you know, when I was out there, it felt like every time that there was, unprecedented amounts of droughts. There would be no rain.
Damn.
But even on the days that it does rain, I mean, yeah, to be frank, you don't even need to wear a jacket. It's not that rain that really sticks. I know that sounds insane to say, but uh, it's nothing that puts you out and it says, "Hey, man, I'm not going to hit the river today." Honestly, when you're out there, you just got to take advantage of every day
Yeah.
and just get out there on the water. And some of those days are some of the best fishing days too. Whenever it's a little overcast and rainy, so. Um, but overall, man, it is a joy to be out there in the summertime.
Dude, so what like weight rods are you usually chasing those like salmon and shit with?
Somewhere between 6 to 8 weight rods,
Yeah.
and you have to use a special hook called the Russian, where they're called Russian River flies, and that gap can't be any more than 3/8 of an inch.
Damn.
um, because what you're doing is you're actually flossing these fish. And I don't know if you're familiar with flossing,
Nah.
but you are trying to get that hook in the perfect water column, basically your leader, and tip it in the perfect water column. That way you can floss it into those salmons. Their mouth is open slightly whenever they're swimming, so you want to try to floss it basically into their mouth, and that's the only way you can catch and keep. If you catch them outside of the mouth and the head and the body or the tail, you have to put it back because it's considered snagging.
Yeah.
So that provides a challenge itself. And a lot of those salmon they get up in size. I mean,
Oh
um,
yeah.
so yeah, I mean six to eight weights most appropriate out there. You could probably do it on something smaller. It'd take you for a ride though.
Oh yeah. Cajun sleigh ride.
That's right.
But dude, yeah, that's nuts, man. It's like that's kind of what's crazy is that a lot of people don't realize. It's like you go other places to go and chase like say steelhead and then
Mhm.
sockeye salmon and like those bigger rainbows, you're gonna need a rod that you can also literally wash down once you get off and then go and catch a red drum on the coast. Dude, like people are like, damn, you're catching fish on the same rod you catch red drum and the salt on, and it's like not kinda, yeah.
Yeah, no question, man. And that's the issue too. Is I got so jaded. I didn't really do that much fly fishing in Georgia, and I really adopted it when I got out there to Alaska. And you're just not catching fish nearly the same size as you're catching out there. I mean, these are
Yeah.
these are bullies of fish. So yeah, you just kind of it's insane the amount of tackle that you're using out there. And even, really small parts of the river. So um it's it's incredible, man.
Yeah, dude, that's one place I've like always wanted to go, put on my bucket list because like my dad's been out there. My dad doesn't know his elbow from his ass to a fly rod, you know, and he went out there and caught some of those big king salmon one year visiting his brother that was stationed out there, and he was like, dude, we got to go back. We got to go back out there. He's like, we got to go back out there. He's like, it is unbelievable. He's like, the freaking salmon that are up there are insane. He caught one of the big king salmon. And he's like, it was the craziest thing I've ever done. I was like, let's go back out there then, because I would like to do that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if you get to experience it with the family, man, it is incredible. So yeah, my first trip out there was in 2005. And I went with my grandfather I mentioned earlier, my dad and my brother. So just a little batch trip out there. But we were obviously, me and my brother were very young at the time, and we caught some good fish, but kind of got that itch and went back out in 2018. Didn't really know what I was doing, and didn't get to get on the river as much. Just trying to figure out the lay of the land and working. And when I went back out there in 21, there's a saying, and it says, "Don't go out to Alaska as a young man. You'll never be the same." I can't remember. I'm botching it right now, but it is so true. I mean, it'll fuck you up.
Dude, that's like it's crazy, dude, because it's like you see a lot of like dudes that guide in Alaska go in there, and then they're guides at like huge saltwater lodges. And I've heard it from like several people. They're like, dude, if you can survive as a guide in Alaska, they're like, you can survive anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, no question, man. No question. Those guys are awesome too, man. All the guides that I've met, especially in the Cooper Landing community, um, they are they are just awesome people, and just super knowledgeable too. So I gained a wealth of knowledge from those guys just being around them, and not even necessarily, uh, being guided, just going out there drinking beers after they're done with work, and you know, smoking a joint and hitting the river. So
Dude, hell yeah. Sounds like a great time. That's all that dude, that's shit. There's nothing like that, man. Like getting out there, dude. Like we did that a lot when I was working at the place where it's like we get off of work and me and one of my buddies would be like, "You want to go fishing?" I'd be like, "Yeah, let's go." We'll be in his car. He's like, "Oh shit, I forgot I had this." We're like, "Oh, yeah, let's split that out there on the river, and then pack about 6 beers on top of it, and it makes for an interesting ride back."
for sure, man, you gotta pull out the fish whistle,
Oh,
and,
always.
and drum them up. Yeah, and I'm sure it might have been, the climates where you were, that water temperature. We'd bring a stringer of beer and just kind of tie it to our hip and just let it sit in that water. And that water's so cold that it keeps the beer cold enough. And you just kind of
Yeah,
you
you
kind
don't
of
need to
hook
be
that
the cooler.
stringer up to your belt. Yeah, you don't need the cooler. You just let it sit next to you and just crack your next one. Put you
Yeah,
in your
dude.
backpack.
I remember we had like the the plastic like 6 packs, and it's
Mm.
like I drink one on the way up there, and then I take like a extension for like a net, and I just clip that damn 6 pack to my hip, like you're saying, and just let it float behind me. And I
That's
think
right.
it was at the time Fish Pond made a clip on clip on koozie that clipped to your waders, and I just let that bitch sit around on my in my wader pack, and I drank beer the entire time, and it was so much fun.
Oh yeah, man.
Dude, and it was like we go to Cherokee some days too. And that's when it would get real fun. Is it's like that 6 pack starts to empty out, and it's like the fishing's starting to die off, and it's like, huh, you want to go up to Harris and see if we can win any money?
Yes, sir. Let's go
And
hit the
then we end up,
casino.
yeah, we end up $200 in the hole, and on top of the flies and shit that we lost out there, fucking hammered on the river.
Oh my gosh, man. Yeah,
They
yeah.
were
That
like,
could that could get that's a dangerous combination, having a casino right up the road.
Oh, dude, very dangerous. It felt like every time I was there, I was like, "Huh, let's go into the casino with $100." 95% of the time, I would leave there with nothing.
Oh yeah, yep, absolutely. You hitting that ATM, and you're like, just one more spin, man, one more. I know this next one's me, and it's just it never is, man.
Never, dude. Yeah, never. There was one time I think we went in there and got on a heater and just like closed out and left. And then the other times it's like we'd end up shit out of luck.
I know
But
it.
dude, so have you had any like close calls or like crazy sketchy stories from the river?
Yeah, yeah. I would say it was probably earlier August of that 21 trip. Um, I am on the other side. So the Russian River campground is where I was, and they've got these great walking trails that you can access different points of the river. And if you want to allow yourself a little more space, you go across the river. So I'm on this stone bank, call it, across the river, and a guy I'm fishing with is working on a fish. I think he was like I think he had fouled it maybe, and he's trying to get it out. And he looks to his left, and there is a mother bear, which is the last thing you want to
Oh,
see. Is just a big old brown, and she's got like 3 or 4 cubs with her, and they are hauling ass, man. I mean, they're probably still. I would give them probably 75 yards down the river, and but they're hauling ass. I mean, Mama's just moving, man. So he's like, "Oh shit, let's go." He said, "We got to get across the river." And there's 2 other random guys that are over there fishing next to us, and we all just haul ass across the river. And right next to the bank where we had to cross was a little deep. I'm not a very tall guy, so I started taking a little water over the waders, and I had
oh,
had to get one of these random guys. Was like, dude, I was like, please grab my fucking hand and help me up, because those things can move too quick across the water. And finally, yeah,
oh,
this guy gets me up. I had thrown all my shit on the dry land, and finally I'm laying there like exhausted, and we just look across, and it was one of the most beautiful things you see. Those terrifying and beautiful. You just see this mama bear just strutting like a peacock across that bank that we were just standing on. No more than a minute ago, and all the little cubs are following it, and they're just doing their thing, man. They're hunting just like we are, um,
yeah,
and they were out there before us. So, uh, you know, mad respect to those beasts, but yeah, that was probably the most sketchy encounter. And the funny thing is, as the summer progresses, you start to realize these things are kind of on a pattern. I would notice these 2 bears, and I guess they were brothers. They look like 2 male bears, and they would come and fish the banks, at the same time every night. So
yeah,
I would be fishing, and I would see them. And this is after the spawn, so a lot of these trout are just moving slow. Or I'm sorry, these salmon are moving slow, and I would just be so comfortable standing in that river, probably 80 to 100 yards from these 2 bear, because I know they're just out there fishing just like I am. And you kind of know their schedule, you know what they're doing, and as long as you respect that and don't be an idiot, it's really cool to watch and just like be a part of that moment. So
yeah.
it's wild, man. It really is.
Dude, that's like one of those things that we have them up here, like the big black bears.
Hmm.
And like when we were working up there, we had a dumpster out behind our townhome, and some people would leave it open at night, and not like they all the kids would be out fucking hammered, and the bears would be in the fucking dumpster, and you got the kids from the visa kids that came in and worked seasonally, and they'd be like, "I have never seen a bear before," and they start throwing rocks at it. I'm like, that is the fucking last thing you want to do to a bear. When that thing gets up on this damn porch and rips all your drunk asses to shreds, there's nobody else to blame but yourself for throwing a rock at a fucking black bear in a dumpster. Like, just sit back and watch it work. I mean, it's in a dumpster.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, yeah. Don't go picking at it.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, that's a lot of people do that. They'll a lot of the foreign people and people who just aren't familiar with that, they'll go out there and they'll see one and start freaking out, and it never really ends up going well. You can get loud enough, and it typically spooks them. Particularly the black bear out there, they're a little more
Yeah.
spooked than the brown bear. The brown bear a lot more aggressive, especially if it's a mom and she's got some cubs. But honestly, man, I hate running into a mother moose more than anything
Yeah.
out there. I mean, those things are massive and they're aggressive. Um, so pick your poison while you're out
Yeah.
there.
Dude, that's like the elk and the smokies up here. Um, when we used to fish the Smoky some if Cherokee sucked, and one day we were out there and we were staying overnight because we didn't have work the next day, and we were I'm talking we were fucking stoned to the bone that day fishing, and it started getting dark out and we started throwing big mouse patterns for big native trout, and we hear coming through the woods like and my buddy's like, "Oh shit, dude, we're fucked." He's like, "That's gonna be a big bear." And sure enough, I'm like, "Dude, like, calm down. We're all good. If I end up getting eaten by a bear," I was like, "Guess what? I went out doing something I like to do: catch giant browns on a fucking mouse pattern." And
That's
sure enough, it gets closer and closer and closer. I turn around, dude. It is the biggest fucking elk I have put my two eyes on in the middle of the Smoky Mountains. Comes down, just drinks out of the water for like 20 minutes. There's probably a giant mouse pattern going past its head at Mock Jesus, and it's wondering what's going on. And he just stood there.
insane, man. That is awesome. I'm sure that's a yeah, terrifying and but just beautiful, beautiful sight to see, man. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
those things are massive. I mean, beyond your comprehension because you know a lot of people aren't as blessed as us to have been able to see that creature in person. And you're like, you see it on pictures and stuff, and it just everything else around it's massive. So you
Yeah.
just don't get that perspective until you're right in front of you. You're like, holy shit, this thing could stomp me out.
Yeah.
One and done.
It is like legit crazy to freaking see that, dude. Like, you literally, like, you can watch Planet Earth sitting on your couch in your damn college house, most likely cross-eyed, cross-faded, and watching that, and you're like, damn, dude, that's cool as hell. And then you actually get up on one and you're like, dude, oh, like, that thing is fucking huge. I've never knew like that was big. Like, the first time I put my eyes on like an elk or like a big bear for the first time, I was like, that thing is massive. And you almost get like almost that happy, nervous feeling, you know?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah, what put the moose thing into perspective for me is the Kenai River is a massive river. And, although a lot of places it doesn't really get that deep. But I would say, at the peak it probably got to about 15 feet. And you just see the head of this moose still just trudging through, just breaking that water so easy, and its head just sitting up there at the top, man. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, they get out and they end up looking like one of them big things from Star Wars. The big, what's that fucking thing called? The Walker? The snow episode? Fuck.
Oh, I couldn't
I
tell
don't,
you. I couldn't
I
tell
don't
you.
remember. Damn. I forget what it's called, but I'll send you a picture on later.
But
Dude,
I
but they
know what
literally,
you're trying to. I know what you're trying to depict there. I see
yeah,
what you're trying to paint.
that's literally what they look like. It's fucking crazy.
It really is, man. It is.
But dude, you've been able to do some cool shit as Lowcountry D. Like, some of the people I see and like you're like the people that are liking your videos and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, why that like I'm pretty sure I saw not Blake Bortles, but ECU guy. He was also back up at Jacksonville. Um, shit, he played under Mike Leach too when he transferred from ECU.
Oh, was it?
I don't.
I'm trying to think.
He's a fucking nut job. Um,
Not
damn,
Gardner
what was it?
Minshew.
It was
Not
Gardner Minshew.
Was it Gardner Minshew?
I'm pretty sure Gardner Minshew liked one of your videos. I was like, oh my god,
He might have. I must have missed that one, man. That's
dude. But
insane.
there have been some wild ones in there, and then like all the Atlanta media pages that are like old man recaps his time at Magic City. Dude, it's so funny. But what has been like the coolest interaction or person to hit you up as Lowcountry D?
Um, the Sirius XM Morgan Wallen collaboration really caught me by surprise. I would say that's a very, I'm blessed to have been in that situation. Very, very lucky they found me. Um, and it just goes to show that you never know who's watching. Um,
Yeah.
Even this was at before I had reached 100,000 followers. They had reached out, and I was able to speak to Sirius XM and ask him, how'd you guys discover me? And they said, well, Morgan's a fan of yours, and sent us videos. He wanted to work with you and have you be the voice of Morgan Wallen Radio. So that one's pretty cool. And it's an ongoing thing. So I'm just so thankful to be a part of that. And it's been fun, and it's getting me outside my comfort zone. Just starting this thing as a goofy little internet page, and it's become more than I could have ever imagined. And I went to the players tournament down there in Ponte Vedra, close to where I'm from. Um, and I didn't have a ticket on Friday night. I was planning on going Saturday. And GA passes, I'm pretty sure they had, sold out. And, if you could find one, they were like $500. And they used to give these fucking tickets away at Publix,
Yeah.
whenever you bought a sack of groceries. Uh, so it got to be Friday night around 10:30, and I reached out to Kevin Kisner, who's an awesome
Oh, no
guy. And
way.
UGA guy, and he's with Barstool now, I believe, or Foreplay. I think it's Foreplay now, and
Yeah, he's big
and
friends with those guys.
for sure. And he's Aiken, South Carolina guy, and so he followed the page for a while, and I reached out to him and said, "Kiz, I spent all my money on beer. Can you help out a pimp in distress?" And I wake up at like 7:30 the next morning, and he had messaged me back. He's like, "Hey man, like I need a name and an email. Just make sure you stop by the booth when you get here." So that was awesome. And the tickets, Ludwig Oberg was leading the tournament at the time. And I get 2 tickets from Ludwig Oberg to my account, and I was like, "Let's go, man! This is awesome. This is one of those moments that I'll appreciate forever." And towards the end of the tournament, I was able to go to the 18 booth. I have not had the pleasure of shaking Kiz's hand. I owe him a beer for sure. But got to sit in the booth, kind of watching him do his thing, do his craft. So just insane, call it 18 hours there. So it was incredible, man. And looking forward to anybody else I'll be able to meet along this journey. Like I said, I mean, it's been probably 5 or 6 months since I started this thing, and it's just grown to more than I could have ever imagined.
Dude, I remember when you posted the first like Magic City video, and it was the one, the not the one that went like mega viral. I saw it and I was like, "Oh, dude, this is gonna fucking catch traction and go wild." And I was like screen recording one of them and sending it to my buddy. I was like, "Dude, this is fucking hysterical." And then the second one came out, and I sent him that one because he didn't have a TikTok. Sure enough, dude, it went mega viral, dude. As you know, dude, it's been so funny to see how fucking big it's grown to now.
Yeah, man. No, I appreciate that. It's kind of feel like I caught lightning in a bottle. I got very fortunate early on. Couple of bangers that went viral, and I kind of started the thing out as, hey man, let's challenge yourself. Let's do something funny for 30 days. That was my whole goal. It's like, I'm going to do videos for 30 days, no matter what it is, with this old man filter on and doing the whistle and saying, guys. But, that kind of came along later. But yeah, man, like I said, I got super lucky. And then by, about day 30, I was like, shit, I've got 30,000 followers. I'm kind of married to this shit now. I got to keep going. I'd be stupid to stop at this point. So, um, here we are.
Dude, yeah, that honestly, dude, that makes you want to fucking love kids even more than like everybody already does too. Hearing that fucking story, dude, I fucking love Kevin Kisner.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, like always a guy I looked at on tour. I was like, man, this guy just seems like he would be awesome to have a beer with. And I was shocked whenever I saw he had followed the page. And I think he had some mutual friends of my buddies over in Valdosta, and it just kind of, maybe established a little trust there. So I felt like I could reach out to him. And it's just funny, no matter what the content is, you never know who's interested and who's watching and who's laughing. So I got a follow from Blake Griffin the other day.
Oh, dude, that's sick.
Yeah, kind of watched him uh growing up playing basketball and stuff. Not me myself personally, but I was a big Hawks fan growing up, so would run into Blake Griffin and NBA in general. So um yeah, man, it's super neat.
Dude, what other cool ones have you had?
Trying to think, man. Now that we're running through it, I think Drewski had liked one of my videos after Mercedes Benz night. I went to a
Oh,
Falcons
dude,
game. I
I
think he,
remember that one.
I think he had liked one of those. The Falcons had a guy that had reached out, and they had posted me one Sunday on their page, that Mercedes Benz, which was cool. Um, and then I've had some other, Gavin Adcock on
Yeah.
TikTok. His music's pretty awesome. I like that type of stuff. And a lot of other artists that are kind of local to Georgia. Um, Bone Collector.
Oh, that's cool.
Um, yeah, man, Marshware. Had a conversation with AFCO. So I mean, it's like I said, man, it's beyond my level of comprehension how much it's grown, and I'm having to learn how to use uh, podcast equipment to talk to people like yourself, and it's it's been challenging me in a lot of good ways, um, and yeah, man, I'm just lucky and blessed, man.
So, how I the last question I always have on all my podcasts. So, I have a running Spotify playlist. I give five songs to it, and then the guest gives five songs to it.
Okay.
And I have my five songs right here. Um, if you do you have five songs, you want me to go first, or you want to go first?
Yeah, you go first, man. Let me hear what you're working with, and I'll be happy to share some, man. I'm big music guy, so
All
let's
right.
hear it.
So I got When I Paint My Masterpiece live, The Grateful Dead,
Okay,
Lawyers, Guns, and Money,
love
the
it,
Widespread Panic version,
love it.
Sweet Child of Mine, Guns N' Roses,
Okay,
I Won't Back Down, Tom Petty,
sure,
and then Hook by Blues Traveler.
love it, man. All bangers.
There, yeah, I listen to a bunch of that jam band stuff.
For sure. And that's, a lot of my followers have asked me that. They're like, when are you going to do more, widespread Grateful Dead stuff? And I like those. I like that music. But I'm more of a, Delta blues, Southern rock.
Yeah.
blues guy. There was a time in college when I dabbled in some extracurriculars and listened to a little bit more of that Grateful Dead
I
and
think we all
widespread.
dabbled into those.
For sure, man. So you get it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, man, 5 songs. I'm pulling up my Spotify playlist that I could give you. Let's see, man. And some of these, so you're adding these to your playlist, or are you just
Yeah.
saying, are you okay? Okay. Um, let's see here. How about Trouble No More by Allman Brothers?
Good one. Dude, I
Uh,
love the Allman Brothers, dude.
love the Allman Brothers, man. Um, let's see.
Macon, Georgia.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How about Good to You Baby by Tab Benoit? You like Tab?
I don't think I've heard of that.
Oh
Let me
man,
see.
give it a spin.
Let's see. What's the song called?
It's called um, Good to You Baby by Tab Benoit and
I'll have to
Louisiana's
listen to that
LaRue.
one. I'll have to listen to that.
Yeah, give that one a shot, man. I love me some Tab Benoit. Huge Tab guy. Um, let's see. So that's two. Um, you like Lucas Nelson and the Promise of Real?
Yes.
Pally Gap. You might already have that one on there.
I don't think so.
Give Pally Gap
Um,
a
let's see. Oh yeah. I do not have that one on there.
good deal. Good deal.
That's
Oh, let's
three.
see. Let's see. Oh, man, you caught me. You caught me. I'm trying to find stuff that's not too trite. I want to find something that you hadn't heard.
I got you. See, I
Um,
like that.
yeah, yeah. How about Big Legged Woman by Freddie King?
I have not heard that one.
Try that one, man. Um, and then for number 5, man. Let's see. How about that? Mm, Wang Dang Doodle by Coco Taylor?
I have not heard that one.
Give that one a shot, man.
Wang Dang Doodle. Who's it by?
Coco Taylor.
Let's see. Doodle. Coco Taylor. Got it right here. I'm a I'm a dang check that out, dude. I've only heard one of those, dude. I'm gonna check all of those out.
Give them a shot, man. That's a little taste of the world of Lowcountry D and what I'm listening to when I'm cooking or driving and yeah, man, that's my stuff.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, you got any last thanks and plugs?
Oh man, uh, thank you to you, Ryan, for getting me onto this podcast. Like I said, I hadn't done many of these. I'm learning how to use the equipment and all. So appreciate you taking interest in my fishing side and allowing me to talk about that. And hopefully we can keep this train rolling and get some more content out there, make you and the guys laugh a good bit.
Hell yeah, man. Well, dude, thank you for coming on. You want to sign us off with a signature Low Country D?
We sure can do it, man. We sure can. Guys, it's been a pleasure to be on Trout Wrangler. In the meantime, y'all take care. Bye bye.